This is Outside the Round with Matt Burrill, a Raise Rowdy podcast.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another edition of Outside the Round with me, Matt Burrill. Today, some very special guests, some guys that have been out there gigging. They're out in the Southwest. New record out, Heartbreak and Honky Tonk, and we love these guys right here. We've got Chandler, we've got Miles, the Kruse Brothers.
What's going on?
Fellas, how we feeling? I know we were in Vegas last night, and it is noontime in Nashville, Tennessee.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
Feel good, man. We're stoked to be here.
Got a few hours of sleep on the plane. Got in at 5:30 this morning.
Yep.
Now,
Ready to rock and roll,
what
man.
were you guys doing out in Vegas?
We had like a little private gig. We were just out in Steamboat, and somebody heard us there, and they hit us up literally last week, and they're like, "Hey, you want to come out to Vegas? We'll pay for your flights." And we were playing for this tactical armor company. So it was
that's
like a
pretty
total,
sick.
Pure
it was sick.
tactical, man.
So FBI, CIA,
Navy
Navy
SEAls.
SEAls.
It was badass,
yeah,
man.
It was
crazy.
It was crazy.
Yeah, because people hear private gig, and it's like it could range from anywhere to like a wedding to some
Right.
random thing that you have no real connection to.
Oh, yeah.
But that's pretty badass.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
badass. It was cool. It was cool.
Well, and we were trying to debate whether or not to play Tulsa County Jail because we were around so much law enforcement.
yeah.
And so we were like,
That's awesome.
do we play the song about going to jail and getting with the
Stealing
sheriff's
the sheriff's
ex?
ex.
Yeah, so
Well, Sheriff Lamb.
yeah.
It's Arizona Sheriff is there. Right?
Yeah, so
Probably
I think we passed on it, but
not.
That's awesome. Though. And then how was Steamboat? Because that is like a bucket list event for me being in Nashville. I don't get a lot of time in that.
have you
red
been to
dirt.
that festival?
I have not,
Oh
but
my
I've
God,
had the
dude.
FOMO for years of just watching the performances, and the scenery looks
Oh,
beautiful,
yeah.
and it just seems like a great way to kick off the year in the country music
Yeah.
world.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was so I mean we kind of have done a few events in this red dirt scene, and that was like it felt like one of the pinnacle events, you know, like we talking to people who had gone to the festival. It felt like the majority of people had been going for 5-10 years, and then this festival has just been built up. It was like the 40th anniversary, 40-year anniversary
Yeah,
or something.
I think so. Yeah.
So, I mean, that festival's been going on for a long time, and then
time.
you see all the names of people that have played at those festivals and played in some of the smaller rooms that we played, and it was like, dang,
pretty
man,
cool.
this is like a heartbeat of the red dirt scene, which is super cool. So we were honored to be there. It was an awesome time.
Yeah.
Got to see such great music and dumping snow, and it was.
I was
it
gonna
was
say,
moving.
I'm sure "White on the Ground" was
Yeah.
well received
Yeah.
in Steamboat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're
for
like,
real.
this is a song about Steamboat Springs right
Yeah.
here. Yeah. It was crazy.
That's awesome, man. So I kind of want to back up. I obviously want to get into the record and all of that,
Yeah.
but kind of how you guys got your start. Obviously, you're brothers, and you grew up together, and
Yeah.
just how it turned into the family business of going out and writing songs and playing music together around the
Yeah.
country.
Yeah, I mean, it was something that like we've always obviously grown up. We've always played together, you know. And there were times growing up where, I mean, we would write together too, you know. Like we would try to like write a song when we were super young, 11, 12 years old.
Yeah.
We just like, you know, and so it was always something we kind of did, but we kind of both had our own lanes, and we were doing our own things. Chan was doing classical like opera music where he was singing, getting adjudicated, and you know, it's like very intense. It's very intense and very technical. And I was doing more of like I was singing Shawn Mendes on my acoustic guitar, you know. So we were doing totally different things. And then and we were both singing in church and stuff. Yeah, I mean, then Chan went to college. I was at GCU. I was running track, and so it was kind of just something we were not really doing. And then we played a wedding, and we played a couple songs together for this wedding. And the DJ of the wedding was a local talent buyer in Arizona, and he booked a lot of honky tonks. And so he was like, "Hey, can you guys would you want to play at this venue called Sun Bar, which is like a really cool venue, and play 3 hours of country music?" And we were like, heck yeah. And you know, we grew up listening to country music, but we didn't have so we committed to it. We were 3 weeks out. We didn't have a band. We didn't really know like the country scene. I was like 18, so I'd never even been to a bar before.
Yeah.
You know, so I had no idea. And so I look up on Spotify, I just look up country music bar playlist, and we copy the playlist. I call up a buddy who plays guitar, call up a buddy I know who plays drums, and we had 3 rehearsals. We were like, let's try to pull this off. Chandler learned the bass. He learned 40-something songs on the
Yeah,
bass.
I had to learn. I had never played bass before, so I was like, all right,
Yeah.
we got drummer, guitar, we got acoustic. I guess I'm the bass player.
Yeah.
So
we just did it, and then we pulled it off. We repeated 3 songs, which is a cardinal sin in the honky tonks, which we didn't know at that point. And then we did it, and we got a call the next day from the talent buyer, and he's like, hey, quit your job. You're gonna be a full-time honky tonk band if you want it. And we got booked out the rest of the that was in November. We got booked out the whole rest of that the next year.
What year would that have been?
That would have been 2023. So 2022 was Sunbar.
yeah,
And then we booked out 2023 the next day.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So this is fairly recent, like
Yeah.
in the past few years.
Yeah, we're we're a year into like real Kruse Brothers. it
yeah.
feels like.
Well, and like thinking about how we got started, even with songwriting, like neither of our parents are musical at all.
Yeah.
We don't have any musical ability or industry in the family, and so the idea of being country musicians or songwriters or even in the music industry was just completely foreign to us, so it was something we were always drawn to and something that we always thought was like would be cool if it was possible, but it was just like literally the most foreign thing ever to us. So it's just cool that we kind of like we're always drawn to this thing that we didn't even know existed, and then the more we found out like there's a songwriting community and there's a whole scene going on in Nashville, and there's a whole red dirt scene, and there's a whole live music scene. Then it was like, oh my gosh, like it feels like we found like a long lost like family, like it was just we were always drawn to it. And when we finally got it, it was like, this is what we were like made to do. This is awesome.
Yeah, dude. I've only seen you guys live once, and it was down in Gonzales, down in Boots on the
heck yeah.
Bayou.
Yeah.
And it blew me away. Now when I hear the classical background and you doing like that 2000s more pop stuff where the vocal range is a little bit different, it makes total sense.
Yeah.
Because that's what I love is it's that throwback honky tonk band, like what you're talking about with Sunbar. But the vocal is just such a different level. Like you guys are different than other honky tonk bands because of, I think that comes from your vocal backgrounds of of church and opera and the covers, man. It's so cool.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it definitely, we saw that right away. Like just our flinches, I think are and were different just because we weren't solely surrounded by the honky tonk thing, and we brought and we still do, and we try to do is like bring our own influences, because our influences are so vast. Bringing that into the honky tonk scene and making a fresh sound.
Yeah, dude, I love that. That's so cool. So let's talk about this record. So Heartbreak and Honky Tonk. So where do we come with the title for that?
It's just kind of thematic. Like I think that was a song title idea at one point.
It was, but then I remember we were in Colorado at the Grizzly Rose.
Yeah.
Which I love that place.
Great
Oh,
place,
dude.
great.
One of my favorite venues. Shout out to the team at the Grizzly Rose.
Oh, yeah,
that
dude.
is one of the best. It's very far from Nashville, but
Yeah.
whenever it would come up on the on the master tour
Yeah.
or the tour rider of where we were going, like the calendar, it's like hell yeah, we're going to the Grizzly Rose.
Miles wrote "Wide on the Ground" on the way to the Grizzly
Yeah.
Rose.
Wow.
That was our first out-of-state gig. Was at the Grizzly Rose.
Yeah. First time
freaking
ever.
awesome,
It was
dude.
great. It was great.
That's great. So you guys were out at the Grizzly Rose when you
Yeah,
came
we
up
were
with
in the
that.
green room and we were just talking about our album, which at that point was a long ways away, but we were just talking about like, okay, let's just start dreaming about the album. And we kind of put together like a list of songs, like a mock list of songs.
Yeah.
And we decided it was either going to be Roses or Heartbreak and Honky Tonk.
Yeah, and we were gonna do two. We were gonna do Heartbreak and Honky Tonk and something western,
Country and Western or something, yeah. Yeah.
So, but yeah, we were just dreaming, and because we looked at it, the stuff that we had been writing was just like heartbreak songs and honky tonk songs, just because and not for any. I mean, one the honky tonk, we were just in the honky tonks all the time, and the heartbreak songs were we just happened to have a lot of those.
Yeah.
So it was just like, yeah, this is like a thematic concept album almost,
Yeah. That's awesome. And this
Yeah.
is this record one?
It is.
Yeah.
This is record
Full record one. Yeah.
This is full record one.
Yeah.
It's a big deal to get your first record out.
Yeah. It is.
Like that is people obviously have been in the streams seem to be going well and the people are latching onto it. But now to give a full project, and I want to kind of go through this with the track list right here. Mm-hmm. So there's some songs that have been out, obviously like White on the Ground, Give Me Some Whiskey, Cry Cowboy Cry, Cigarro Sunrise. Is that how I say it right?
Saguaro.
That's my Yankee, not
Yeah, exactly.
Saguaro Sunrise.
Most people don't know.
Yeah. But there's songs that have been out and been doing well, but going off some of the stuff that was a part of this project. We'll start at the top. So tell me about When a Cowboy Gets the Blues.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. So this is one of my personal favorites. We wrote this with Trent Woolman, who produced the record, and our guitar player Mike Griffith. So Mike was in town because we were recording, and we had this co-write set up with Trent, and we kind of go there. And Miles and I, we kind of have this like ethos with the honky tonk songs that we're constantly thinking about our live show, right? Like we're thinking about what we liked playing when we were playing covers from all different eras of country music and the honky tonks. We're like, okay, what did we love playing, and how do we write some of our own songs that?
And how did the crowd react to these songs?
Exactly. How did the crowd react to these songs, and how do we how do we use that influence to like write our own, have that same experience but with our own songs, like our own show, And so that's how we wrote Good Is Gone. That's how we wrote, a lot of these songs is like, we want these songs to be fun to play live. Mm-hmm. We want them to connect with people. And so When a Cowboy Gets the Blues, this was another, I think, potential like album title song. Mm-hmm. And Miles, so backtracking a little bit, how we write songs a lot of times is we have a running list of song titles in our notes page. So if something comes up that's inspiring, or we think, oh, this could be a cool song, we throw it in that list of song titles. When a Cowboy Gets the Blues was one of those song titles, or it was Even Cowboys Get the Blues.
Okay, yeah.
Even Cowboys Get the Blues.
So we had this idea. We love Trent's songwriting, and we're a big fan of. We've been a huge fan of Trent for a long time, and so we were so excited. We had this great idea, so we're like, all right, let's. And we had Mike, who is our guitar player, a crazy blues player.
Yeah, he was awesome.
He rips,
Boots on the Bayou, he was
ripping. Yeah, he rips. So we were like, dude, this is like the perfect opportunity to like bust out a freaking awesome blues song.
And for that to be track one on the record, it seems like a great starting point.
Right.
Yep. This is who we are. Right. This is the introduction to this project.
Because it kind of fits the theme too. It's like it's like Heartbreak and Honky Tonk, and that song is a honky tonk heartbreak song.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it kind of it's a cool way to start out the album for sure.
Yeah. I got to ask, is Tulsa County Jail based on a true story?
No, I wish.
We used to say it was on stage. We used to be like, Miles and I had to get arrested. And then we got like so many actual like real jailbirds, like people that had gone to jail, like coming up to the merch table like, so what'd you go for, man?
Didn't someone come up that had been to Tulsa County Jail?
No. We posted something on our TikTok of that song, and the algorithm pushed it to people who had been to Tulsa County Jail.
So all these people, me, you don't want to go there, but the snacks are really good.
Yeah, they're like, I was in cell, whatever, like Tulsa County Jail. Yeah, like this. I went there. Like I was like, what is going on right now? So,
but we would say. Because there's the David Allen Coe, You Never Even Call Me by My Name, where he's like, the perfect country western song, you gotta have a song about Chuck's mama going to prison or whatever. So we would do that bit and be like, they say like to be a real country band, you gotta have these songs. So you gotta have a song about jail. So we had to get arrested out in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, but so we don't do that anymore. But it was I as a kid. I just thought like the idea of like robbing a bank was like so cool to me.
So badass.
It was badass because it's like a chess match.
Yeah.
Because then you got to figure out like how. So because I always thought like how would I do that and get away with it? Like because you I don't know. I liked those movies, and so I always wanted to like write a song doing something like that.
Yeah.
So I had that song title and we just wrote it. But
Seems like one that goes over well live too.
oh yeah, because Chance says, what is your saying for that?
I always say it feels like a chicken with its head cut off that just did meth. Is like how that song feels. Like,
that's
it's
Tulsa
like,
County Jail.
It's just absolute mayhem, but it's so fun. It's like Southern rock and it's like classic country. It's like, I mean, it's very true to like our style too. You know, it's like very, because a lot, like going back to like what we would play in the honky tonks, like all these songs we tried to put our own spin on, you know, and tried to, it kind of created this cool sound. It created our sound. And so that song I feel like is such a true representation of like our sound. And so I'm excited for people to hear it.
It's authentic.
Yeah,
and that's what music is supposed to be, particularly country music.
Yeah.
They always say 3 chords and the truth.
Yeah.
And it's not just the truth, it's your truth.
Yeah.
You know, it's what and your crowd's gonna latch on to knowing, because after seeing you guys live, which I can't wait to see you guys live again. We have you at Odie's tonight, but getting out to a full band show is the crowd is gonna connect with you because they're gonna relate to the songs and like you said, putting your own spin on it. I think guys that come up like how you guys have with playing in the bars and playing in the honky tonks have such a leg up because there's guys and girls that'll blow up on social media, never been on a stage before, and they're like, how do I do this? You guys have done that, so then as the moments continue to happen and the shows get bigger and bigger, you're like, oh, it's just another show.
Yeah,
Right.
totally.
Another day in the office.
Yeah, another day in the office. We're just instead of it being like a smaller room honky tonk, we're at a festival stage and wherever.
Right. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man.
It's great.
That's awesome. Tell me about Making Mama Cry.
Making Mom Cry. So that one, similar thing, just had this hook idea, and Chan and I were kind of starting to, something that we like to do is, or that at least in the last couple of years, what we've tried to do is just try to find new lanes and you know, I think part of having so many inspirations, we try not to get stuck in a rut of like one sound, you know, and so like we're like so we were playing a Wednesday night residency at a honky tonk in Phoenix this whole last year. And we started playing. I got Chandler a nylon string for his birthday, and so we started playing a lot of Willie and Waylon stuff.
Oh, that had to be fun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude.
So we're like, let's try to write a song like something Willie and Waylon would sing, you know, and so we're like, you know, you gotta have a song about Mama, and so
I love it.
Yeah,
I love full commitment to a bit, and you guys have made it a reality.
Right. It's because it's fun. It's like get people for the show aspect, like, because again, it all goes back to the show aspect. It works. It just works, you know what I mean? And so and sometimes it doesn't, but most of the time it works. And so we wrote down the song title, and we got with David Lee Murphy, and we're like, this is a great thing to try out with David Lee Murphy, who's just a Hall of Fame guy.
Yeah, what is that room like? You guys are still relatively new and young to this, have gotten some reps out there playing, and have been doing this Kruse Brothers thing for a little while now. But to get in a room with a David Lee Murphy, what was that experience like?
It was awesome. I mean, it was humbling for sure. Just to be in the room with him, being like, this guy's a legend, and how are we sitting across, the room from him? But it was awesome. I mean, he's a whole character, you know, like he's awesome. And so it was like equal parts hanging out and, you know, like, and writing, and it felt like
the cool thing about him too is like he's an artist and a songwriter, so he can kind of
it.
relate to like the show aspect and the touring aspect. Like he was telling us about being in Wickenburg not too long ago and hanging out with like the bikers and the cowboys in Wickenburg. And we're like, yeah, dude, Wickenburg, which is a town in Arizona, roping capital of the world. And he was like, yeah, man, like Wickenburg. And so, I mean, that's how a lot of co-writes go, I feel like, is it's a lot of just getting to know each other and kind of, you know, sharing some stories and hanging out. Sometimes you just have to have that connection a lot of times before you can like really get in and write a song. And so David Lee Murphy was like, it felt like we had that connection with, you know, being artists, being writers. him recently being in Arizona, and then also him just having been around for so long, and us wanting to write something that was classic. And he starts telling us stories about hanging out with Waylon Jennings and all this stuff, and we're
Oh
like,
my
holy
gosh.
cow, dude.
What were those Waylon stories like?
Yeah,
Give me a little bit, a little
Yeah.
taste of it.
I mean, they were just like it was just like Waylon lore. Like he was just like the coolest dude ever. And I think David Lee Murphy was a young buck. He was kind of like it's kind of like equivalent of like us hanging out with him, with him hanging out with Waylon. And I'm trying to remember exactly like what the stories were. It was just kind of it was like Waylon telling him stories about the industry, you know,
Just
or
like
his
he's
stories and stuff.
he's telling you guys the
Yeah.
stories.
You're right, exactly.
Yeah.
exactly.
Which that has to be so cool for that era of guys and girls that are now, and you guys are a huge part of why they're more and more involved with where we're at right now, because of that traditional sound coming back and
Yeah.
guys and girls playing in the honky tonks,
Yeah.
and they can relate to more to what you guys are doing than what people have been doing for like the last decade or so.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely. I think so. Yeah, he was excited. Like I think a lot of these guys that have been around for a while, like they're excited about what's happening right now in country music. You know, because like he was excited to and it inspiring. I think it's inspiring for everyone. You know, so yeah.
Yeah, man. It's that ultimate. There's something about mentoring
Yeah.
that has to be so cool, and for him to remember when he was in the same spot you guys are in, where
Yeah.
he's starting to come to town and has played in some honky tonks, and then it just starts going, and then he's making his first record. You
Right.
know,
Yeah.
it's wild, man.
Yeah.
Talk about Hummingbird.
Yeah, so Hummingbird is it's like I feel like it's kind of like the sequel to Eleanor a little bit.
Okay.
Which Eleanor is one of my favorite songs I've ever written. Hummingbird is another one of those. It's Western ballad style song, slower song, but it's a song that this is another song that I wrote that just fell out of me like Eleanor did. And I remember getting home from a gig late at night, and I pulled out my guitar, which I didn't usually do because after a gig, I'm like, I just want to go to bed. I
You don't
want to play music.
You don't want to look at that guitar.
Yeah,
after playing
exactly.
for 3 hours in a bar.
Yeah,
Right.
3 or 4 hours. Yeah. So for some reason, and my wife was working that night, and I was just at home. I pulled out my guitar and poured myself a glass of whiskey, and I just kind of started strumming. And again, like, you know, growing up with a classical background, like I love Andrea Bocelli, like, you know, just kind of that classical style of singing. And so there's even songs like classic country songs, like Marty Robbins, and even like Willie Nelson a little bit, that kind of have like a very classical influence to them, you know?
Conway Twitty in a way,
Yeah.
where it's like that, where he becomes that belting, you know.
Yeah.
Some John Denver fits in that.
Yeah, totally. So, so Hummingbird, I feel like fits kind of in that style of that classic country Marty Robbins harmonies with like the oohs and the ahs, and which was so fun to do that, because that was like a random idea I had one day where I was driving and I was like kind of like singing it in my head, and I was like kind of heard the like oohs and ahs, and I was like, oh man, I think that could be really cool. We tried it in the studio, and it just was like,
Sick.
it was perfect, and I think something that we're gonna do more of in the future. But anyway, this kind of the story behind Hummingbird is it's a story of an old man who, like the way that I picture it, he's kind of like going out every morning with a cup of coffee, and he kind of like has this coffee with these hummingbirds kind of buzzing around, you know, and he's kind of like talking about this hummingbird reminding him of this woman named Ruby, which is revealed at the end of the song. And Ruby is my great grandma's name, and I kind of like developed the inspiration because I remember going to my great grandpa's house growing up, and I just remember him always talking about his wife that had passed away, Ruby. Like every single conversation was about Ruby. He was just infatuated with her, and she had recently passed away, and he was just this old man who was just like in love with his wife. And so, and I remember being a kid and going out into the backyard morning after morning, and Arizona's the hummingbird capital of the world.
Really?
So,
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I didn't know that when I wrote the song. I found that out after. But I remember as a kid, like, having these hummingbirds and like every once in a while a hummingbird would just fly up and kind of fly completely still and just like lock eyes with you for a few seconds and then buzz off. And it, like, for some reason, like, those moments just kind of felt like spiritual to me, And it's crazy because we've been playing this song live and just kind of saying that story a little bit. And people are like, we'll get somebody every show, like, hummingbird like reminds me of my grandma or my dad or my mom or whatever. And like, I totally feel that with hummingbirds. Like, I feel like it's like, something spiritual, like, and I think like God speaks to us through nature all the time. So
Absolutely.
I totally think that there's something there, but I don't know, dude. So I love the song, and I think there's like a message in it that's kind of like spiritual, and that I think will resonate with people who like feel that connection with like, family or, somebody that's deceased or whatever. So that's kind of what that's about.
Dude, that's awesome. I love that. And I imagine you guys keep in mind, like, when you talk about the live show, because what blew my mind coming from the East Coast and then the Southeast was when you go to concerts, everybody's up in the pit. It's set up like a rock show. I remember my first time going out West, and I was like, wait, why is nobody in front of the barricade? And it's like everybody's standing off to the side. There's a dance floor in the middle. Yeah. And then it's, they like the song, they go out and dance. Yeah. They don't like the song, they stand on the side and drink beer. Yeah. And there's no beers on the dance floor. Yeah. So you guys, it seems like, do a balance of that where people are twirling around and it's that fast pace. Exactly. But then a song like Hummingbird will be that slower waltz.
Right. Yeah.
Either way, they're dancing. Yeah. So it's like, I feel like, is that something you guys keep in mind?
Yeah. I mean, we love getting people dancing. And like, there's also like when we were playing, in honky tonks, like we would take because people, they'll be going and you mix in line dances and you mix in, a waltz, and then you kind of try to keep it to like a two-step type of thing. But we'd throw in like a 6/8 kind of groove of like a slow blues to like, get people a breath, you know what I mean? Because like people, they'll get tired and then they'll want to sit and watch you. And so when you if you give them the opportunity to stand on the side, and you keep them out on the dance floor intentionally, and then you give them the opportunity to stand on the side, they'll be on the dance floor more. You know what I mean? So yeah, we totally like think about that, especially when we're building our sets. Like we totally craft our sets in that way from what we learned in the honky tonk.
So what does that look like? Is it like come out of the gate, guns a-blazing, get their attention, and then you have the swells throughout?
Yeah, you could like come out. We come out swinging, and we'll spend probably the first like 25, 30 minutes like just ripping your face off.
Barn burner, just going.
just rocking. Because we got all that adrenaline too, so it's kind of a way for us to settle into the show a little bit too. And then we'll kind of like bring it back, strip it back, and then build it up. It's a dance, you know what I mean? It's like a two-step where you're kind of, it's a little give and take, and then we like to take it all the way back at least one point. And if it's a full headline show, we'll play a couple acoustic songs and like show people, this is how we grew up playing, and maybe we'll play a brand new song for them or something. But yeah, it's a total dance.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I love that, man. What do you guys like doing when you're not doing the music thing? Because you guys, having the residencies and having those gigs, you don't get a lot of off time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what are we doing when we're not doing the music stuff?
Right now, we're both like we're reading a lot right now.
Okay.
So we're reading this like a
Red
series,
Rising, dude.
Red Rising. It's like crazy.
You ever heard of Red Rising?
No, I'm not. I'll be honest. I'm not a huge book guy. I was just on a vacation with my girlfriend, and we were gone for a week, and she read 4 books on her Kindle in a week. Yeah. I'm like, how can you do that? But tell me about Red Rising. What's going on?
Oh
how far in are we of other plot twists?
We're almost done with book 2.
Yeah.
And so we didn't plan to like read it at the same time. Kind of like Chan was like, I'm not a huge fiction reader. Like I love reading, but I'm not a huge fiction reader, or fantasy or whatever. And so Chandler was like, you got to try this out. So he like gave me his Kindle on a flight like in December, so like a month ago. And I started this book and I was like, all right. And then I got like 3 chapters in and I bought a Kindle just to read this book.
Wow.
And I read the book.
That good.
Yeah,
You bought
dude.
the device.
I read the book. I bought the device and I read the book in like 2.5 days. And we were in Steamboat and I was like, we were out of Hot Springs and I had my Kindle. And like I'm literally like at these in beautiful Steamboat, like just reading this book on my Kindle. I felt like I was like I can't get enough of it. And then so now I'm on the second book. Chance on the second.
What's the premise? Like, give me a little.
It's super nerdy.
Well, give it to me.
It's like a dystopian
Sci-fi.
So basically, like this guy, Darrow, is this like lowborn, like bottom class, and he basically gets crafted into like the highest class tier.
Oh.
Like, and then it's kind of like Hunger Games. Like he has to like battle all these people to like get to the highest level.
He's trying to like take down this dystopian society.
Yeah.
That is like, and it's like futuristic, but it's really good.
That's sick.
If
Highly
it were a movie, would you go watch
Oh
it?
yeah,
100%,
it's they're making it into a movie. And
They
It's
are.
gonna be. It's once the movie comes out, like I think it'll be like the biggest deal. When the movie comes out, it'll be huge. Like the movie will be.
If you're looking to get into reading, check it out, dude.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna mark that clip that you
Yeah.
guys called it. That
Yeah.
this will be the new Hunger
new
Games,
Hunger Games, for sure.
Twilight,
Without a
big
doubt.
book to movie, the
Without a
next
doubt.
Harry Potter,
Yeah.
big culture thing. So we like reading. What else do we like doing? You were talking about having a wife. How long you guys been together?
Yeah, I've been with Lexi for it'll be 5 years in May.
Wow, congrats.
So, yeah, man. It's been and she married me before I was pursuing music, so she likes me for me.
Yeah. What is? I mean, it's a tough life to have drag somebody into in a way, or have somebody that's a champion, especially starting out like you guys have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it definitely is. Like it's a huge sacrifice, and like she's a nurse, so she works the night shift and works full time, and even like financially too. Like getting started, it's not you don't get started in music for the money for sure.
If you're trying to get started in music, you're not in it for the money right
no,
away.
not at all. So, but yeah, I mean with travel and all that, but I was luckier than I thought. Like I got married when I was 20, which is super young, and she was 23, and I didn't know how good of a decision I was making, but I made the best decision I ever could, because she's just consistently like pushed me and supported me. And when we were first deciding like, should we do this? Should I do this? Like, I don't know what this entails. She was really the one that like kind of pushed me over the edge of like you need to do this. Like
you never want to be 20 years in the future in your 40s and say, what if I had done that?
Exactly.
Life's too short to be asking yourself the what if. Is something I've learned,
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
Yeah, so I mean, and she's like consistently just pushed me to be better, and pushed me to keep pursuing and keep working, and like something comes up and I need to do it, I know I have her full support all the time.
That's awesome.
And to feel that, like to have somebody, I mean it's awesome having Miles as like a, like I'm not doing this alone with him, but then also to have somebody like Lexi that can just continually support me and love me and knows me better than anybody else is one of the best gifts in the world. So yeah, she's the reason I do it for sure.
That's awesome, man. It's good to have a rock. Now I got to ask some brother stuff. So you guys traveling around, what are you guys kind of touring in, and who does most of the driving?
We're traveling in a Sprinter van, trailer, and we split the driving pretty 50-50.
Okay.
There was a period where Chandler was doing the most of the driving because I was in a bad driving. I was having bad luck driving for a little bit, and I had to.
Bad luck?
Yeah, it was bad luck.
Bad luck or poor driving?
Expand on that. Let's expand on that.
What happened?
Circle in here.
What happened, Miles?
Well, shoot. It was bad luck. I gotta say. I mean, so it was an equal combination of bad luck and bad driving. But I was obviously in high school. I was on my dad's car insurance, and then he moved to Nevada, and so I got I had to like be on my own car insurance. And I mean, at this point, I was 21 or something, so I was ready to be on my own insurance. And so the day I got on my own car insurance, I have a clean, perfect record. No tickets, no accidents, nothing. Perfect record. The day I'm on my own car insurance, I'm driving on the highway in Arizona, and the stroller rolls across the highway. I'm going 75 miles per hour. The car in front of me slams on their brake. So I slam on my brakes, but 75 miles per hour on the highway, and I barely tapped this car. But my insurance, I'm at fault because I rear-ended the car, you know what I mean, on a highway. And so I'm at fault. They didn't have insurance, or they had this like sketchy insurance, so they're like coming after me for every penny. So and then 2 weeks later, I'm leaving a gig, I'm backing out of a parking garage, and it's like, you know, the parking garage kind of goes up, it goes around the curve, and so I'm backing up, and this car whips around the curve and hits me, and I'm backing up again, so I'm at fault. But they whipped around, they're in like a Corvette, they whip around the corner, hit me, I'm at fault. So I end up getting dropped by my insurance.
Oh, they dropped you?
Yeah, they dropped me because I'm a kid, and I've been insured for 2 weeks, and I've already had 2 car accidents, and I got a ticket during that span. And so then I'm like, my insurance just jumped, and then I kept getting tickets.
And another accident.
I got another accident. It was barely an accident. Barely an accident. So I learned my lesson. I had to cancel my car insurance because it got to $800 a month. I was with like Geico. So I was like, I can't afford this crap.
No 15% off.
No.
15 minutes.
15 minutes.
Exactly.
It would take 6 hours to save Miles anything. Any
Oh
percentage.
my God.
I canceled my insurance for 4 months, and I didn't drive for 4 months, which luckily we were on the road for most of it, so it didn't matter. But he had to drive because I wasn't insured. And then now I'm chilling, and I learned my lesson. I drive like a grandpa now, so I'm good. But
slow and steady.
Slow and steady.
Slow and steady, bro. Slow and steady. What do we like? Listen, are we music guys when we're driving? Are we podcast guys? Like, what are we listening to when we're behind the wheel?
Yeah, I'm like constant music guy. I kind of listen to music all the time, but I love lyrics and like crafty lyricism and things like that. So like I love Jason Isbell. I really love like old 70s music, like Chris Christopherson, Willie Nelson. Willie Nelson was my #1 artist last year. My age for my Wrapped was 70 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, I love any of that type of stuff. So I'm always kind of like, and I also love making playlists. So I have like 50 playlists for every type of mood.
The playlists are fun, dude. In high school, it was before the playlist era, so we were still doing the CD mixes. And
totally.
I was in charge on my football team for our off-season like lifting schedule.
Nice.
I would make the mix for the gym, for the weight room, the high school living. It was, man. And in New York, a lot of 50 Cent, a lot of Jay-Z. A lot of Limp Bizkit. You got to break some stuff, you know. But that's cool, man. And what about when you're driving? What's on the thing? Are we silence? Are we audiobook? What are we doing?
I'm mainly silence, or as of late, it's been the Wilder Blue on repeat.
Oh, nice.
Dude, have you heard the Wilder Blue?
Oh, they're sick. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, bro. So we did a run with them. We just did 2 shows with them in like October, and I had like listened to a couple of songs before that. And I was like, oh, these guys are really cool. And then I saw them live, and I was like, holy cow.
It's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
And from October to December, they became my #1 artist on Spotify Rap, dude.
That's awesome.
So I listen to music like 50-50, but a lot of the times it's just silence. Or it's like 70s music, or as of late, it's just been Wilder Blue on shuffle, dude.
Nice.
Yeah.
Shout out Wilder Blue.
Love
those guys.
So
Love those
good.
guys. They've been on the Raised Rowdy podcast with Nikki T and Kurt.
Oh, cool.
'cause
Dude.
Kurt's good buddies with them.
Heck yeah.
Because I think they were opening up some Luke shows. So that's how Kurt got to know them
Yeah.
back last year.
Yeah.
So that's
They're
wild.
fantastic.
Yeah. Who have been some other folks that you've kind of gotten to? You talk about David Lee Murphy, Wilder Blue. Other folks that you've gotten to know just from shows, being on the road, or meeting folks and getting to know them here in town.
Well, we did a 2-week tour with Dylan Gossett this summer.
Nice.
And he was his whole team was just awesome. I mean, they're so classy and just great dudes. So we loved getting to hang out with them, getting to know them, and we've done some dates with Tanner Usry. And
I love Tanner.
Yeah, he's a great
Tanner's
dude,
good
he's
people.
Awesome.
He was out at Steamboat too, right?
Yeah, he was in Steamboat. Yeah, so we said what's up to him there, and So I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, we did a couple shows with Brothers Osborne.
Brothers Osborne.
Brothers and Brothers.
Yeah,
I like
dude.
that.
So
that had
was
to be cool.
And we got to we hung out with them on their bus afterwards, and just got to talk with them for.
They were
good
awesome
amount of
to
time.
us.
Yeah, they were really
cool.
really great, and just cool to meet another brother duo and talk about the brother stuff, and I'm trying to think of other people that have really made an impression on us.
Yeah. In the songwriting world, I guess Casey Beathard is one that we've loved writing with.
Yeah,
legend.
Dude.
He's
incredible.
So he wrote Saguaro Sunrise with us.
Yeah.
And then we've done another write with them. But I'm trying to think of who else. But dude, Dylan Gossett, that tour will probably go down in Kruse Brothers history as one of the best.
It's one
of
the
the
best
greatest
so
of
far.
all time.
It's the best road experience we've ever
You
had.
never forget your first time going out and just having a blast and the crowds being there and the act that you're out with as an opener being so cool and so welcoming.
Yeah. I mean, it seriously leaves an impression because it's we're setting our own standards of what's good, what's bad, and we've had both sides. We've had great and we've had bad and we've had stuff in the middle. And so to start with that, just really and the more we've toured after that, the more we've realized that was, they just set a really great standard of excellence and and also just of being kind to the people that you're touring with, and so it's really informed how we're when we're in his stage, how do we want to be doing things, and he also we were nothing at that point, we had nothing, and he sat and talked to me for 2 hours about, and he laid down this is how my whole business is structured, you know what I mean, and we had never had that before, because we were figuring it out, we didn't know what we were doing, and so it was a game changer for us. It really was. It was awesome. So shout out Dylan.
Yeah. Another one is Avery Anna.
She's
an Arizona girl, right?
Yeah. She has been equally as amazing to us.
Yeah. I mean, and she was an early believer too. When stuff just started kind of going, I started seeing Lil Debbie comment on our posts, and I was like, this girl has a ton of followers, but who is Lil Debbie?
Which I love that bit, by the way.
Oh
Quick
my
side
gosh,
note,
dude, it's so great.
It's brilliant.
Fantastic.
And then I started seeing comments Lil Debbie looks like Avery Anna, and I was like, no way, this is Avery Anna, dude. And then so I was like, oh my gosh, Avery Anna's commenting on our posts, and we ended up doing a festival that she was on the bill this last summer, Country Summer in Santa Rosa, I think.
Yeah.
And she reached out to us and was we reached out to her and we were like, hey, we're playing the festival, can't wait to see your set.
We got lunch with her before.
Yeah. And so we were like, hey, we can't wait to see your set, have a great show, whatever. And she's like, yeah, we should, film some content. Or I think we said hey, could we maybe do a video with you or something? And she was like, yeah, that sounds great. So we go back there and she's like, hey, you guys want to sing White on the Ground on my set, during my set? And we were like,
yeah,
what? Are you serious? we were like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And so she literally had us up
Gave
on
us
her
the stage.
Wow.
On her show.
45-minute, whatever.
And was like, these are the Kruse Brothers. You guys got to hear them.
Yeah.
Take it away, boys. And we were like, no way.
And then we opened for her in Flagstaff.
Yeah.
And she did the same thing. She just gave us her, which is that doesn't happen. And
it's the other end of the spectrum of just total support.
Yeah,
And, you
so
know, she's
cool.
like pushing.
Yeah, and that had to be so sick to do a show with another Arizona artist
Oh,
who's
yeah.
having the commercial success in
Yeah.
Flagstaff.
Yeah.
And it was that's her hometown. It was her first time playing her own show in her hometown.
Oh, that place had to be
Yeah, it was
bonkers.
packed, dude.
Oh, yeah.
And her
dude.
shows are insane. Like people are like crying and they're like screaming.
The
and they're,
Ozzy
like,
cover.
yeah. The
Oh my
Ozzy cover
gosh,
is,
dude.
Like,
Because you would think, I mean, she got introduced to at least me and like the rest of the world as being the young blonde girl crying in the bathtub,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, with narcissists and
Yeah.
all that. So
Yeah.
to see her rocking out now is a
Yeah.
whole
So sick.
different
That
thing.
cover is nuts.
And
bro.
her band is good.
her
Oh,
band's
yeah.
really
And I'm
good.
sure they're good. I would imagine they're pretty good dudes
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
yeah.
great dudes.
Yeah.
Her show is really great. She's one of the best performers I've ever seen like live. It's really cool. It's a great show.
Yeah.
So that's
That's awesome. What led to you guys kind of having connections out here in Nashville? Because you talk about playing at Sundown, and that guy's saying, "Well, you guys need to quit your jobs. You're going to be a full-time honky tonk band if you want it." What led to the Nashville connection of getting hooked up with Trent and the team that you have out here?
Yeah. We got connected to a guy named Dan Couch through a connection of somebody in Arizona knew a publisher out here in Nashville with S&G Publishing, who connected us with his buddy Dan Couch. And so it was after this crazy, like the lowest point of our career, where we had just gotten incredibly scammed by a horrible manager. We had gotten robbed by our merch person. We drove to Nashville for a show that we thought was a label showcase that ended up being fake because our manager lied to us. So like just total crazy, like bottom of the barrel. Like we just found out like a lot of stuff that we believed to be true based on previous management was a lie. And it was just this local manager guy in Arizona.
Yeah.
And so we ended up, but we had this trip booked to Nashville, and we had this co-write set up, and we had a meeting with a lawyer. And we had started this drive to Nashville, and we were halfway there when we found out everything that we thought was happening in our career was a lie. But we knew that we had this songwrite and this
Yeah,
lawyer.
you got to go. You've come this far.
So
You
we're
gotta
like,
get
all
out
right,
there.
we're halfway there. Like, we might as well just finish the trip, go to Nashville, and do this songwrite. And so we get in the room with Dan Couch, which at this point, you know, we'd looked him up. We were like, oh my gosh, dude, like this guy's the real deal. Like this could be legit. And we kind of talked about song ideas, and we ended up loving the idea of Honky Tonk Heaven, which is on the album.
The closing track, which means it's a big track. The
Yeah.
first track and the last track on a record are
Yeah.
a big deal.
Yeah, man. So we ended up going into the co-write, and Dan's like, hey, like, great to meet you. I'm Dan Couch, you know, and he's like, before we get started, like, I heard your stuff. It's cool. Like, can you guys just play that Good Is Gone song for me?
Yeah.
And we're like, yeah. So we rip Good Is Gone. He's like, all right, just give me 1 minute, boys. And he steps outside, and he's just like on his phone. And we're like, gosh, we freaking blew it, dude. Like, this guy thinks we suck. Like, he didn't even smile. Like, he's just like, yeah, cool. Like, all right. So he comes back in. He's like, what do you guys got going on today? And we're like, nothing. Like, just riding with you, dude. And he's like, all right, well, it's going to be a busy day. Clear your schedules. I'm going to take you around town and introduce you to everybody I know.
Wow.
So we were like, oh, shoot. And, I mean, Dan Couch is like, you know, Deer Rodeo with Kojo.
Yeah.
We found out in that meeting, wondering why, something about a truck with Kip Moore. Like, this guy knows people. He's like, you know, top dog. And so we're like, this is cool. And Tony Lane and James Slater were in the room right next door at PMG.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, Tony, James, come in here. You got to hear these guys. And we ended up writing a couple songs with James Slater too. Like, and so Dan's really kind of been like the like connecting piece for us in Nashville. So we've come out every couple months since that meeting last March, or no, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It's 2 years ago. It'll be 2 years ago this March.
Yeah. Wow.
March of 24 was when you guys started coming then.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, so that's been our connecting piece. And I mean, he's become like just our biggest mentor and supporter out here. Like, you know, so it's just that connection after such a low point was like.
You were talking about being a believer and
Yeah.
the way that the Lord works
Yeah.
and the way that life works. And it's you hit that bottom point and you guys are like, man, what's going to happen? We're halfway out here. All
Yeah.
this stuff that we thought we were excited for and hopeful for isn't real. And then you get here and then that happens.
Yeah. Can't make it up, dude.
You cannot make it up.
There's no such thing as coincidence.
No.
Right. Well, and it was like looking back, like that low point was absolutely necessary for like that. I credit that as one of the most important things that has happened to us in probably in our whole life, and at least for me, for like my whole life, because that what had been the trajectory that we were on before that, and what the other guy, and just people that were in our circle at that point were feeding us was like, you're the biggest deal. You guys are so good. You're gonna like it's all like just feeding the ego kind of thing, like where we just thought we were the next Chris Stapleton, like in the next week, you know what I mean? Which is, I mean, we were so young. We had no
Yeah.
idea what we were doing. We were just like, oh, this is awesome. Like everyone's telling us we're amazing. Like we must be amazing. And that was the first time where we're like, oh shoot, like we're going to really have to work for this if we want it. Like this isn't just going to come easy. Like there's a lot of people out here that are working really hard, you know what I mean? And so if we want any ounce of success, we're going to have to work as hard or harder than the person who's working the hardest, you know what I mean? And so so it was really humbling, and it also like forced us to be like, also we don't have any control over this. Like,
No.
like, you know what I mean? Anything that's going to happen is like, we can work really hard and do our side of the job to like, you know, to do with the gift that we've been given, to like do with it the best that we can. But really at the end of the day, it's like, we're not the ones that are going to be, you know, making anything happen, opening the doors, getting any, you know, whatever. So we were like, all right, we either we quit or we drive to Nashville and we, you know, work our ass off and try to do something. And so it changed our mindset in a moment. And then when we met Dan, we were like, it was like, we saw the provision of the Lord like differently than we would have ever seen it, you know, because we were like, holy, you know, we gave it up and we're kind of like, all right, like it's not in our hands anymore. And then that happens with Dan, like, and we're like, that you can't make it up.
And now, less than 2 years later, you're dropping a record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With Trent
Willman.
Willman. Which at that time too, we were like, if we could have anybody record our record, like let's just dream. We're not even close to, we don't even have enough songs to have a record, but if we could have anybody record our record, who would it be? And we had two names, and Trent Willman was one of those names. And so now our first record with Trent, it's just like,
It's a movie, guys.
Yeah, it's a movie. It is.
It
It's
is.
like, you can't make it up.
It's just be a good person.
Yeah.
And be good to the people around you.
Yeah.
And work your tail
Yep.
off. You know, that's really
That's all it is.
what it comes down to, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's so freaking
Yeah.
cool.
So we're having time of our lives, really.
And it's just getting started,
Yep.
boys.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yep.
just getting started. So what do you hope people take away when they're listening from top to bottom of Heartbreak and Honky Tonk?
Man, I just like, it's we put a lot of time and effort into this album, and we're really proud of it. But it's just the start of it's just the start of a lot of things that we already, you know, we're working on, and it's just a start that, you know, so we think it's really great, and we're really excited about it. And we've got, I mean, come see us live.
Yeah.
Listen to it and come buy a ticket and come see us
So
play.
I'm looking at the live shows right here. You boys are going overseas?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Have you been overseas before?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we were out in Manchester last year.
Oh, so you guys have already done that. You guys have already gone from playing at Sundown in Arizona, playing honky tonk gigs, busting your ass, to going overseas and bringing country music to the world.
Yeah.
What is that experience like? What is it like going to a whole foreign place where country music isn't the thing and showing people it is in fact the thing?
Oh man, that show is still one of the craziest shows we've
one
ever
of the best
played
ones.
in Manchester. This festival called Buckle and Boots in Manchester. It's an annual festival, and one of the coolest festivals we've ever played, in my opinion. And So obviously we've never played overseas before, but this festival, like Music Fest, has been around for a long time and has kind of built up this tradition and these people that come every year. And you go to this festival and you camp there for 3 or 4 days. Everybody's camping and everybody's decked out, cowboy hats, cowboy boots, Wrangler, pearl snaps, like all these Brits, dude, just freaking locked in country music.
It's so good.
And so we're walking around first couple days. We haven't played yet, and people start stopping us. Oh my gosh, are you the Kruse Brothers? We're so excited for your show.
That has to be the coolest
And
feeling.
we're like, no way, man! Like these people are recognizing us, and so we end up playing on what's called the paddock stage, which is like this outdoor stage. And we start playing, and people just start like screaming our songs, and we're like, "Oh my gosh!" Like we've never played here before, and we played I think we played either a 45 or an hour set. I think we played an hour.
Played an hour. We ended up playing a little longer than an hour because we started early.
Yeah, so we ended up playing an hour set, and it was like so loud, dude.
So
Like the
rowdy.
cheers, the screaming, the like probably 2,000 people there just going nuts.
Because we were playing on an outdoor tent stage, and it wasn't even the main stage; it was the side stage. But we had been walking around for 2 days, and so the whole festival had come to this stage, and they were like, "This is the busiest this stage has ever been," and it was like crazy rowdy. It was so freaking fun, and we had this big, like 6'6" Scottish security guy that he was like the stage manager.
You got Braveheart running security.
He had to like escort us off the stage to the merch because the merch was like in a different area of the grounds, and he had to like escort us and like it was like I felt like I was the Beatles. Like I was like, and it was like not nearly as crazy as that, but it was the first time we'd ever experienced like kind of like people.
But they had all listened to our music before, learned our songs. Like they were like so excited that we were there, you know? And so to never have played there before and to show up and just have people like fans of your music, like singing your songs and just like so excited to see you was crazy.
In a whole other part of not the country, but the world.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's sick. So you guys are going to be in Berlin and Stockholm and London.
Yep.
It's going to be a busy. Oh, and what's crazy, that's in March. So
that's coming up.
That's like the 2-year anniversary of you guys coming to Nashville.
Right.
Yep.
2 years after coming out to Nashville, meeting Dan.
Yeah.
And now you're you're doing a run in Europe.
Right.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Totally.
It happens, man. You boys are blessed.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
You boys are blessed, man. It's awesome. And you guys are going to be down at the Miles Zero Festival, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Nikki T and Kurt will be down there from our team.
Okay.
So
Cool.
Raised Rowdy will be down there. So
Yeah,
we'll have to do
sick.
some content.
Yeah.
Nick and Kurt and
Love that.
our video guy Ike, who is an Arizona State grad.
Oh, nice.
He's in Arizona. He was with me at down in Louisiana.
Sweet.
Same
Nice.
guy.
Yeah,
so
cool.
you guys will have to link up down there, man.
Yeah.
Well, hey,
Yeah.
I appreciate you boys coming on and
Hey,
hanging,
thanks, man. Thanks for having
I
us.
can't wait. I'm so excited to see what the response is to this
Yeah.
project, and can't wait for even what's next after this record, because I'm sure you guys have been writing and thinking about what's coming.
We already got stuff cooking. So
Let's
it's
go.
coming.
I can't wait to hear more about it. Well, Chandler and Miles, appreciate you boys so much.
Appreciate you.
Y'all be sure to go look up Heartbreak and a Honky Tonk, the record. It is out right now. And if you're not following our boys at the Kruse Brothers, look them up at Kruse Brothers on all the socials. Check them out on Spotify. Be on the lookout. They're all over the West Coast. You guys are going to be down in Alabama, it looks like, Texas, Minnesota, Bristol, Tennessee. You guys are bouncing over. I'm sure there's going to be more dates added as the year goes on and stuff. So get on the train. Now's a great time to hop on and become a part of the Kruse Brothers family.
Yeah.
Join the family.
go.
Shout out to our friends from Surfside. No bubbles, no troubles. It ain't a seltzer. It's a Surfside. Go and check them out wherever you get your booze. And for more on us, visit raisedrowdy.com. For my boys from the Kruse Brothers, I'm Matt Burrill. This has been Outside the Round.